man, what's going on?
What a mind mess that was. That was
We
something else.
totally didn't go live and then went unlive and then went live again. That didn't happen.
No, but hopefully everyone got the notification that we're live.
Are the folks listening to this on the podcast later gonna have to go back and listen to the first part?
Maybe, I don't know. I have to go back and delete videos, I guess.
Oh man, take two. Here we are. We're smooth. It's not like Alex goes away for 2 weeks and all hell doesn't break loose.
Yeah, right. What happens? I let you guys control this podcast for a week, 2 weeks, and the world falls apart. We don't even air an episode.
I mean, we were live. It just wasn't. It wasn't a podcast
We
episode.
don't even,
Everything fell apart. I had a guest lined up, and then Ram was supposed to be there as well, and then Ram fell out, and then the guest was sick, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired. I just want to play a video game, so we streamed Smash Brothers, your favorite game of all time.
Well, that's such a sad events right there. Sad amount of events. I can't even leave you to do anything simple anymore.
Oh, here it goes. Here it goes.
Track record. I would have been here, but I couldn't, and I leave you all to do one simple thing.
I'm sorry, Alex. I'll do better.
This is the future that we live in.
You know what I did get up to, right?
No.
I tried out some of Tim Biebs.
Gross. Super gross.
Of Tim.
Oh yeah, I tried to do that, and then they were sold out.
Wait, I thought you said you got some.
No, if you listen to what I said,
by listen, you said they didn't have them all.
If you listen to or read what I wrote, I said that they don't even have half my order.
Well, that's disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I will say that they were fine.
Gave me a gift card for all.
Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Is it?
They were fine. It was like there was a little bit of extra stuff on it. Here's the thing for me, like yes, different Timbits taste slightly different from one to the next. The ones that taste the most different are like the honey dipped ones. These Tim Biebs were just kind of like normal tasting Timbits with like some like chunky bits on the outside. Kind of weird. It was fine. The pack that we got was like a little stale. We got it in the morning, but I think they must have made them in advance and then had them sitting before they went out. And they didn't taste like the most fresh. So like I think I don't know how long this is going to be going on for, but I definitely do want to give it another try. Maybe when it's not so chaotically everybody's trying to get them when they're actually selling out, and see what they taste like when they're a bit more fresh.
Yeah, those words. I have to get back into this. I haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm tired. I'm always tired.
Pieces.
Tired all the time. Living the dream.
Uh-huh.
Yes, once I get a chance to actually try them, I will. I mean, they're just Timbits, right? So, I mean,
yep.
Timbits. I wonder how much control he actually had over the amount he got to put in there. Probably not.
I'm sure there was some dialogue involved. I mean, if you saw the commercial, it looked like he was really involved.
I never saw a commercial. I didn't know they were a thing until I saw them on the internet.
Oh man. Hold on. I'm just getting us on the Instas, making sure that people know that we're here live.
Oh, yes. Gotta put it on the social needs.
Yeah,
the needs of social.
For those who don't watch this live, all you need to know is Wednesdays at close to 8:30. We're usually pretty on time, but Alex was watching TV and couldn't be free on time for 8:30. So
how I gotta, use the time I can to, research the product so we can talk about such product.
Talk about
products.
Such products. Production.
Yeah, sure. Let's go for that.
Yeah. Alex, why don't you tell us where you've been for the last 2 weeks? What's been going on?
You guys explained it pretty good in the last one, so we're good there. If I don't have to talk about it, I don't have to talk about it. It's great. It's it is what it is.
Okay.
Aptly named. It is what it is. This is episode 2, I guess. No, 3 of the Is What It Is podcast. Technically, should have been 4, I guess, theoretically. But it is what it is. So, yeah, no, I had to go open a restaurant for some reason. I chose that as my life. So
For
that's,
some reason.
and it is what it is. It is what it is. Now that we're here, I'm going to say it more times than I said it before.
No, no. Think you can drive everybody away?
Yeah. No, I don't think I'll be doing that. If anything, I'll be pulling them in left, right, and center because it is what it is.
Oh man, oh geez. So Spotify finally dropped their Wrapped 2021.
Nice.
What's at the top of yours? I want to know.
I don't listen to Spotify. I don't use Spotify.
Okay, well, I think Apple Music did something similar. I don't know if theirs is out yet though. They
do
Apple
they
Music
do
Rewind.
make a playlist for your 2021 or whatever.
Yeah.
But
so I went through and posted a bunch of stuff on mine earlier today, but I'm going to bring up the screen here and go through, and feel free to make fun of or, just embrace my terrific taste. So coming in at number 1 was apparently This Could Be Anywhere in the World was my number 1 song that I listened to. I don't recall listening to this more than other songs that I've listened to this year. I feel like there's been other bands that I've listened to a lot more, but somehow this came out on top. I'm not complaining. It's a terrific song. It's a great Alexis on Fire song, but is it my most listened? I guess it is. Spotify's telling me it is, but
yeah.
The Middle by Jimmy. I'm really showing my age here, I think, and that I don't listen to a lot of new music outside of Church's dropped new album. Clearly, I listen to that song a lot. But then again, it just goes into a lot of music that's been out for a long time. I think the next new song is All Eyes on Me by Bo Burnham, all the way down here. I'm kind of crazy to look at and think really, that's the music that I'm seeing stuff down here that I feel like I've listened to a lot more than some of the stuff up top, but hey, it is what it is. I don't know. That's what it's telling me. So.
A lot of Ed Sheeran there.
I've been listening to his new album lately. It's all right. It's it's funny. The first time
the guy who makes fun of me for listening to other music, and he's all like blah, 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 blah.
What music am I making fun of?
I don't know. Whenever I bring up like Ariana Grande, I don't actually listen to Ariana Grande.
Ariana Grande. I don't know.
I actually don't, but I know how talented she is. And then The Weeknd and stuff like that. Then you're all like, blah, 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 Ed Sheeran. Is it because he's a gingered white dude? Is that what it is, Matt? Is that what it is?
It makes good music. It's enjoyable. I can dance to it. It's fun.
Yeah.
One band that showed up a lot this year, and I actually have you to thank for it because you got me back into them, was earlier this year. I don't know if you remember, but you messaged me and you're like, you know what band I've been randomly listening to a lot of? Do you know what band I'm going to bring up?
Yeah. It's white. It's Canadian white people music. It's still
Bare Naked Ladies, man.
Is what it is.
I have not listened to them in a long time. Out of the blue, you're just like, yeah, suddenly I'm a fan of Bare Naked Ladies. I'm like, oh, I should listen to them. And they managed to make a lot of the top songs on my list as a result. So thank you for that.
Well, I know because last year it was a playlist I played during the music. So let's see here. We got Apple Music's music replay. Mm-hmm. I don't think this is in any order.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's in any order. But yeah, there's a lot of songs here. I don't know if you can obvious. We got Song Along. Then you're gonna play that.
Nice.
You're gonna play that.
Song Along. Oh, from you talked about that quite a bit.
You got David Fair, obviously, from who was in the real Eurovision. You got these two songs. These songs came out this year. I had to listen to them a lot.
I can't say I know them.
Well, we've talked about them on this podcast, so there's
probably. That. I clearly haven't listened to them.
Wow, you don't listen to the words I'm saying.
Man, you did listen to Little Big a lot. I do remember us having a big conversation about that.
Yes, so funny. Obviously,
the music video to Think About Things is one of the best music videos I've ever seen.
By David Foy, yeah,
it's so good. My gosh.
We got some Bo Burnham in there, obviously. This usually I just played albums, and they just tend to
Mm.
go on repeat most of the time at
Some
work.
Demi
So
Lovato. Nice, nice. Well done. Yep.
Demi Lovato is from the
Eurovision
soundtrack,
soundtrack.
which we would just
Ah, got
play
it.
at work. We just play it
Yeah,
at
yeah,
work.
yeah.
I mean, Leave the Door Open, obviously, classic song, classic
Mm-hmm,
song.
mm-hmm. Yep, yep.
Um,
It's actually
what
a
else we
terrific
got?
song. Yeah.
How Not to Drown. Gotta listen to that one all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
So I do
That's
need to
not dark.
see classic. The Weekend on the Aria Grande.
Nice, nice. There you go. That
Good tune.
combo breaker right
Good,
there.
good tune.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and just albums, with the Bo Burnhams. Little Big, tacos.
yep.
Gotta love tacos. Um,
For anybody listening, if you have checked out your Spotify Wrap 2021 or your Apple Music Rewind 21, let us know
Mhm.
what's at the top of your list. I want to hear. Was there any surprises? Was there anything that came up that you didn't
Oh
realize you
yeah,
listened to as
we
much as you did?
Keegan Michael. We Look at You from Prom. That's a very
I think
sad song.
the most shocking thing that I had come up, because if you go into the actual mobile app for Spotify, not the computer app, I'm actually kind of disappointed that like their website didn't do anything fun this year, but the mobile app went through and did like a whole like, hey, like we're gonna like make this fun and you can post to your social media. And it like showed me that like Born This Way was like one of my like favorite songs of this year. I'm like, I remember listening to that song like once this whole year, and it was literally this weekend. It was just like,
Born This Way by like Lady Gaga.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
I'm just like, okay, I don't recall listening to that as much as I did.
See, I feel like Apple Music's trying to tell me something here. With
We got
abandonment.
Steph checking out the broadcast and has listened to an unhealthy amount of Pup. I actually saw your Instagram post, Steph, and it was what, like 4,000 minutes worth, 3,000 minutes worth of Pup, which I thought was.
I was there for some of it.
Were you?
And
Oh yeah, you went up to
she would
talk with her,
drunkenly
didn't you?
ask me, you could pick the music for the next one. I'm like, you're not gonna like it. And then she just played more Pup. So it was like
it all worked out for the best. Then is what you're saying.
I mean, sure. We're all alive. We're all here.
Mm-hmm.
Are we all here? Are we all alive? Or are we zombies?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's getting real deep and real crazy here now, y'all, isn't it?
So deep.
Anyways,
Deeper than deep.
but that's music, you gotta check out some new stuff. I mean, Doom's Children is by Wade McNeil from Alexa on Fire. You should have learned about that. That's fine. Whatever. That's fine. You should know about that, but that's fine. Yeah. So our music's not all over the place, but it is. But it isn't at the same time.
Spotify also recently, so last week, this is actually a note that I had in preparation for our last podcast, but you know how it is. Spotify also introduced something, collaboration with Netflix called the Netflix Hub. So this is directly to compete with some stuff Apple Music's been doing with Apple TV, where they've been releasing a lot of soundtracks, just like officially making it available for their shows, their movies, etc. Now Spotify is doing the same thing with Netflix. So they've collaborated, and Netflix shows and movies, their soundtracks will be made available on Spotify's collections. So you can check those out right now.
Yes, you should check it out.
Yeah.
Listen to, listen to some different music. Maybe check that out. Hit that. I don't know what they call it on Spotify, but that that genius button or whatever that listens to the same style of music, but it's not the same music.
I think it's just like a radio button, isn't it?
Something like that. I don't know.
Like,
I don't
listen
use
to more
Spotify.
music like this, or actually I have it open right now. And now I'm playing music.
Loser.
That didn't work. Oh, it's just go to song radio, and then so they just call it radio.
Yeah,
make a radio off this song. Yeah,
that's fair. Well, speaking of weird and gross, I mean, we weren't.
Do tell.
But so I bought one of those ear camera things, ear cleaner camera things. So if you're squeamish, I wouldn't look at this, but I'm going to show everyone anyways.
You do. You're not going to show the inside of your ear right now, are you?
Oh, I totally am.
Oh no, I feel like there's a law against that.
That's if it will let me. I don't know if it's going to let me. So this is a clean ear. I'm going to show you. No, that's my broken watch.
Oh, what are you doing?
I didn't do that. I can't. We got it to work, so we're not gonna do it. So, but yes. Uh, anyways, don't buy them. They're scary, you know, or are they healthy? But it really shows you the difference between my right and left ear, and it's really creepy.
Mm.
You should probably
So
get it.
so now armed with this knowledge, what are you doing with this information?
Already know it's the same thing I was doing before. I can't clear my right ear because I sleep on my right. I feel like you need to get it because you need to, hear more and
Oh, I hear
accept
lots.
it.
It's what I choose to absorb
Yes.
is the difference.
But I feel like it's being blocked by something in your ear. So maybe if you clear it out, it will
You know what?
help.
I do have an experience with this. Several years ago, I went to Mexico and I decided to enter into like a somersault competition underwater, and just it was like, how many front flips can you do basically underwater without coming up for air in a row? I
Mhm.
won, but for the rest of my trip, one of my ears was just blocked. I couldn't hear. It was like somehow water got plugged and it just stayed plugged, and like didn't matter what I did while I was there. It didn't matter. Like the air pressure changed in the cabin for the plane flying home. Nothing cleared it. So finally, I get home, go to my doctor, and they're like, "Yeah, you got swimmer's ear." Basically, like water goes in, it makes the earwax like move up like a wall, and then it actually traps the water behind the earwax. So they do this thing where they like high pressure water gets shot into the side of your ear, and it feels like Niagara Falls, like coming down the side of your face. You just got like water and earwax coming down.
Yep. Done that. I have that home
Felt really
remedy
cool, and
at home.
yeah, do you?
Yes, that's what I use.
Huh,
So,
very cool.
um, yeah, that's what I do. So, back to the music thing for a second.
The thing we listen to with our ears.
Yeah, see, it's all about the same thing.
Yeah.
Um, so I can, if you go to the actual whatchamacallit, website of applemusic.com,
Yeah.
you get the
Yeah, bring it up.
playlist. I'm supposed to be able to see. I haven't figured it out how yet. Oh, here it is. Okay. I'm gonna bring it up here for you. For those watching us live.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm disappointed in Spotify. It's only available in the app. You can't get all the fun highlights and details through the web or through the desktop app. Like, who do they think uses this stuff? I
Yeah.
want to talk about it. I want to show it off. Spotify, how dare
Yeah,
you?
so here we are. So you've listened to 1,434 different artists so far this year. Crazy. Just crazy. My top artist, I guess, would be Coheed Campbell with 42 hours.
Damn.
Crazy. Alexa on Fire. Casa, the Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, which nobody ever listens to or watches. That's fine. Which, speaking of which, they actually released, so they got canceled earlier this year.
Mm,
But Roku actually picked them up to do a finale movie.
that's cool.
Yeah, so it's now free on the Roku app. That came out today. It actually came out today. I haven't had a
Mm.
chance to watch it. So yeah, you should go check that out. And then if you have a Roku device or a Roku app or whatever, it's you can watch the whole show for free on their little Roku app.
Well, isn't that fancy?
Isn't that fancy? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So
And then we got
fancy.
Jimmy Eat World in the back coming up, and the Bo Burnhams, obviously. The Night Sweat, City in Color, Churches, Little Big, Bare Naked Ladies. Holy, it's my life and the mixture here. Eminem, Swollen Members. I don't remember listening to them. You got Leslie Odom Jr., Avi, Funeral Friend, Doom Children, Paramore. That makes sense, you know. Then we got out of 222 albums you've checked out this year. Here's your own personal top 10. Let's see what this says about my life. Got Eurovision. Oh shit, I've lost the tab. Okay, Inside the Future by Daniel from Prom. I mean, when I watch a movie, I tend to listen to it a lot. Little Big covers. You should check that out. It's pretty funny.
That album art is fantastic.
Yeah, so they cover on this one the Backstreet Boys, Barbie Girl,
Yeah.
because they're basically Aqua but from Russia.
Did you hear that recently? So the actual like the Nirvana cover with the baby, apparently that
Yeah,
like person,
yeah,
adult,
yeah.
is now like trying to sue for damages.
Yeah, and he was suing somebody else because apparently he's in like another picture as well for some other cover for a
Mm.
different artist. But I think he's asking for less now because of some other thing. I don't remember. I read it shortly, but it's getting swept under the rug for the most part. Um, but yeah, because he was taking the picture without his consent or whatever. But I mean, he was a baby, so
It's a baby. Yeah. I'm sure part of it's just like feels like, oh, the success of the album, I should have gotten more money for this. But I mean, like it's in the game when you're doing like modeling and whatnot, you sign a contract.
Mhm.
Whatever the contract is, that's what you get out of it. That's
Yeah.
how contracts work. Like it doesn't really matter that you feel like you
Well,
should have gotten more because it just happened to be a successful thing. It's like, remember when Simu Liu suddenly blew up because of Shang-Chi earlier this year? Well,
mhm.
everybody had fun with all the stock photos he did earlier in his career before he got known. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like whatever,
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, it's one of those things. Like, I wonder how many times that been like repressed or reproduced. Is he
yeah.
getting paid from those ones as well, or is it
Hmm.
just being paid for the one time, one shot
Yeah.
from the '80s or '90s, whenever that album came out? So it depends. You know, it
Yeah.
depends, and I get it. I'd take all the money I'm worth too if I could.
Yeah, I mean, like you only live once, and you gotta see what you can get. I just think like there's like whining about it, and then there's like using it as like a way to like make yourself famous. So instead of like getting upset at the people who profited off this image that you're in, you can be like, hey, brand myself as the kid that's on that cover. Yeah, maybe I'm not going to get royalties from that, but I can certainly market myself as a result of that success. I can be
Hmm.
that kid if I want. It's like the Gerber baby, right? Like the baby that was on the Gerber stuff. I'm sure they found a way to monetize that later in life, right? Maybe this stuff doesn't pan out super well, but I'm sure you get 50 minutes of fame and
Well, that's what I
whatever.
think they're trying to do. I mean, I think also Nirvana's trying to sell their estate or something. I don't know. There was some a lot of stuff, and that's why it was brought up again.
Who I'm curious who like has the rights to the Nirvana stuff at this point. Like I would imagine Dave Grohl would still have some, and
A
the
little bit, I
bassist.
would assume, but like it'd be the same idea of
Would Courtney Love still retain anything
some
from
of it. I think
Kurt
so.
Cobain's side of things?
I think so, but I think it'd be like the similar idea of what Taylor Swift was going through. So like, um, you would buy, they were reselling the masters to another company, but creatively, whoever created it, like whoever
Right.
wrote the songs, has rights to it as well.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's one of those weird things.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. It all depends on what their contract was back then, and the music industry was a lot worse back then, and it kind of showed
Hmm.
up in his life. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so we'll see. We shall see what the future of that is.
Hmm.
But yeah, so let's get into our regular scheduled programming after 23 minutes of this.
Yeah, I mean, let's dive into some TV stuff. So I don't know if you've checked this out at all. I don't think you have, but I've talked about Arcane for a couple of weeks now. I was talking
Mhm.
about it, before I watched it, and how the art style from the trailers that I'd seen was really, cool looking. And then I started catching wind of like people who were watching it and talking about it and reviewers, and I was like, man, this isn't just like a cool looking art style. It's actually apparently a very good show. So I dove in. I've seen the whole series now. Wow, like what an incredible show. The story, the characters, the character development. It's been confirmed for a second season. Like it's just a really good show with really good artistry, really good story, really good characters. Like
Really
you
big
don't
shoe.
need to be a really big shoe. You have a really big shoe.
What do I? That's unfortunate.
You got a big shoe. Yeah, you're looking at it. I know exactly where it is in there.
Hmm. See.
Please show the viewers your really big shoe.
Oh, you can
It's
kind of
behind
see.
him. It's behind him.
There it is. It's a really kind of big shoe.
What was the last time you tried walking around in that thing?
Oh, right. It was a book slopper. Oh, that's a whole mess. Way to go, Matt. Way to
I
go. Now
tried
I gotta
so
fix that later.
I tried so hard that day that you won that one to get the other shoe for like so we could have both
Yes.
feet. I'm
I
so
don't know if they were
disappointed that
giving away two shoes. I think they were
they,
really
they
giving
were.
away
There was a
one.
second shoe. It was like one on one day, one on the next day, I think is
Oh,
how it all
right,
worked
right,
out.
right, right.
That was at Oshiega or
Yeah.
Way Home? Oshiega. Yeah,
O'Shea,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that was so cool when you won that. I was so jealous. I'm still jealous.
Yeah, you were more excited than I wanted than me.
You know what we should do? We should start like we should get something trending on Twitter about saying, I want to find the other shoe. I want to find my Cinderella. And see if we can find the person who won the
Well,
other
I think
shoe.
yeah, maybe we could. Probably better on the gram than the twits.
Maybe on
So what it's
TikTok.
called? Is that the twits? I'm shocked.
The
I'm shocked that
Twitterverse.
StreamYard hasn't involved TikTok yet. It's such one of the biggest platforms in the world right now, and it's
But
not.
okay, and my naivety, because I have still withheld myself from TikTok, but you will
Missing
be
out,
able
bro.
to answer
Missing
this.
out on the world.
Is TikTok designed to do longer videos, like live
So right now
streams?
there, I think they're up to 3 minutes.
Okay.
But like they do have a live option, right? So you can go live and stuff
Hmm.
like that. So that's why I'm like,
Okay.
if we had the option to put this on the TikToks, I think
Sure. Sure. Hmm.
we could get out there. I mean, it's a different thing. It's the same idea as like Instagram, right? So you wouldn't have.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of live than it is on the on this kind of platform as
Mm-hmm.
the Facebooks, the YouTubes, and the Twitchers. So maybe one day, everything will be integrated.
Yep.
But that really, I guess, depends on the metaverse these days.
Speaking of which, okay.
We're just jumping subjects. We're just jumping subjects.
It
now.
is what it is, Alex. It is what
I
it is.
guess it is what it is. Yes,
The metaverse is a whole thing that's been just going crazy everywhere the past couple of weeks. Facebook comes out and decides we're going to rename our company Meta, and we're all about the metaverse. And now there is, Oculus, this amazing name for a company that's doing really, really well that we bought a few years ago, and we have this amazing product in the Quest that's selling like hotcakes. They have completely dominated the VR market at the consumer level. As a result of it, it's just doing extraordinarily well. We're going to rename Oculus Meta as well. So not only is our company name Meta, so Facebook by Meta, but we're not doing Oculus by Meta. We're just naming it Meta, and that's where you're going to go for the metaverse.
Meta.
I am so frustrated by this for many reasons.
Why it's so meta, man? That's not meta of you, Matt. That is so not meta of you to be so. Okay, go on. Sorry.
So Oculus was the company that made VR like what it is today. So in early 2010s, they were crowdfunding, and getting campaigns going to develop the Oculus headsets, those early headsets prior to Facebook coming in and buying them. And they got out there and they got the first Oculus Rift out, and it was commercially successful. Sure, the HTC Vive was at the time seemed to be probably the better of the two, and in many respects outselling it. But they persisted. They got the Rift S out, which was developed by Lenovo, and it was fine. And they got the original Quest out. And when it first launched, it was okay. It was definitely not as good as the Rift. But over time, through software, they kept making better and better and better. So what I'm getting at is they built this amazing brand. They continued that name under the Facebook brand. I thought it was a terrific name. I think people think of Oculus synonymously with VR. And when you have something like that, you don't fuck with it. You know what I mean? It's like deciding if you're Kleenex is synonymous with that thing, right? So it doesn't matter what tissue box you buy. It doesn't matter if you buy Kirkland brand or if you buy President's Choice brand. If somebody asks you for a Kleenex, you're going to grab them a tissue from anything, but you're not going to have somebody ask you for a Kirkland tissue, or you might get a tissue, but fairly often you're going to be asked for a Kleenex. Yeah. This is how I feel about what they've just done is they've taken Oculus, which is pretty damn synonymous with VR at this point. It's like, hey, it's either you have a VR headset or, hey, do you have an Oculus? Do you have a Quest? For them to go and now rename that to Meta just because they're trying to really capitalize on this potential future metaverse, and they're trying to be cutting it. I just think it's a bad move, and I'm really not impressed by it personally.
I mean, it's it's not something we haven't seen before. We see it in cars. We see it in, when cars get taken over by major companies. It's not something that's unheard of. And it's just brand association, right? So, um, yeah, I mean, if it's gonna reach more people, if it's gonna make people talk about it, which is we're doing it right now, because personally, I don't know anyone else who owns one other than you. I know you probably know more people who own
I
it
know
than
a lot of people who own them.
yeah, but a lot of your friends are cooler than me. Anyways,
It's not even friends. It's more like people I work with, like in my
yes,
industry, in
it's
the
the
tech
people in the
industry.
tech
It's
industry. Yeah, people would
very
get that. Like, I
popular.
mean, it's not a very
But I
normal
will
thing
say
for more
it's
house people to get.
gone
Like,
past it. It is starting though, and
I
that's the
mean, and
thing. Like,
I'm sure it will get there. But I mean, once like the PlayStation brings out their new one,
sure,
once Xbox
but
decides to get into
the
the
cost
business
of
of
entry
it,
for those is a lot higher than what Oculus is. Oculus is a
but
standalone. You buy it and you have it.
you already have. I understand that, but then you're getting
Hmm.
more, in my opinion, better valued games. More like because you're having a bigger. Yes, you have Facebook, you have or whatever the hell it's called now, Metaverse,
Hmm.
building into it. But you're good, and you could have more um, different games. Sure, you got
Yep.
your laser sword thing and your
Beat
Pong
Saber. Yep.
or table tennis, sorry, and then
Hmm.
but you can get like with PlayStation, you're getting Batman, you're getting stuff that PlayStation, like is willing to spend the money for, and that they've known how to deal with video game wise, right? Like I'm sure Biohazard is going to get on there as well eventually,
Mm.
and like if Xbox gets its way into the game, but I feel like with the big PlayStations, like you'll get a different. I don't know. You can get a different way out of it. Like you'll get. I mean, they're gonna milk it as much as anybody would, right? They're gonna create the guns. They're gonna create the probably the hockey sticks or whatever you're gonna need to be able to do with it one day, right? So,
Hmm.
but they'll have more money. Well, I mean, Facebook has a lot of money as it is, but
Facebook's doing pretty well, and I mean, here's the thing: it like they don't need to make all the games. Developers make the games, and
I
developers are going to
understand that.
make the games where people are buying the games. And if
But
the
here's the
Oculus
thing:
right now is the primary headset
but is that going to change
where
the game when
people can develop
PlayStation gets
VR.
into it and it starts
I mean,
buying
they
these?
tried already once
Starts
with the PS4, and it did okay, but it was
yeah, but
far,
if
far from the top selling headset.
yes, but I mean, like once they get into it and start buying these developers and
Mm.
forcing them not to go
Mm.
to Metaverse, which is what they're more than likely going to do, because more people are going to go, "Hey, you got your choice: go to Metaverse or PlayStation, where you know you're going to get the advertising just for your games." You know what I mean?
And I mean,
So,
that's a really, really valid point. I think that's something that I am thankful that Oculus or Meta is not Amazon.
mhm,
Um, Amazon selling TVs now with Roku built in,
yeah,
or sorry, with Fire TV built in. Sorry, Amazon Fire.
which is
That's
funny
their
because
brand.
like I found like
Um,
this last weekend, like Amazon was really pushing Sony with Google TVs in them. Like I was like,
mhm.
"What? This is
But yeah, Amazon
weird."
has their own like lower cost, kind of like Amazon Basics, but it's not an
Yeah, yeah,
Amazon Basics brand TV, but it's an Amazon TV with their Fire stuff. But like half your user interface is advertisements.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I do have to like give it to Facebook and Meta so far is that they haven't done that to the Oculus ecosystem yet. Right now, when I go into my Oculus, I'm not entering in an ad filled place, which
yeah.
knock on wood, I really hope that's not what it turns into.
And
Um,
and it's gonna have a lot of that. And the only thing, their website is gonna have a lot of more of that socialness to it. But
mhm.
I think with like I say, that's when the PS5's VR comes out. You're buying a game and you're gonna be enhanced in just that game. I mean, they
Yeah.
have like PlayStation has their social parts to it. It's very
Mhm.
limited, and you can just share what you're seeing. But
Yeah.
um, I think that's it would be a better fit for somebody who's not in the tech world who enjoys those small little other things like the indie stuff, but like somebody like who is more an average player like myself would buy the PlayStation stuff to keep it all more unique and not unique, singular.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Like
But
there's gamers like yourself that would rather stay in one ecosystem, right? You have your
exactly,
PlayStation account, you have your user, your friends profile there. That's where you game. That is your portal that you choose to engage with gaming with. And that there's a lot of people that agree with that sentiment. Like on PC, people got really mad when Epic decided we're going to drop our own game launcher and game store separate from Steam, which was the de facto game store and launcher on
yeah,
the PC for the longest time. People got really like there was a huge community that was upset by it. I think I fall more into, and I think it's pretty obvious, I own just about every gaming console and like place I could possibly game on. I'm not like platform agnostic. I'm far from it. I don't mind having things segregated when it comes to my gaming, like having different friends lists and whatnot. Like yeah, it's annoying on one hand because it would be nice if I could just have like a unified games list that just or friends list that follows me anywhere. It'd be nice if I only had to have my credit card in one store, but at the end of the day, I love jumping into different experiences and having the option to just jump around and play with different things and with different people. So I think there's a market for both, and I think that's okay. I think you're always going to find that. What I find interesting though is you're right. PlayStation does have their own like social thing that's already established, and they've tried it with the metaverse, going away from VR and just talking about the metaverse. We're seeing all kinds of different like real world things popping up in virtual world. So like I messaged you and a few other people like last week or something about like this conference that took place in a metaverse, and it was just you go online, you build an avatar, and you're just walking around this like virtual conference that's designed to look like you're in real life conference. So it's like there's a conference room and you have to pick a seat and look at people on a stage, and you go to a concert venue where you're on like pavement and they're up on the stage playing music. And I'm like, I had my gripes about it for the factor that like if you're going to do this whole metaverse thing, why not like improve upon our limitations that we have physically in the real world? But on top of it, it just looked like a PlayStation 1 era game
Yeah.
in the way that this thing was done. But PlayStation did exactly this 10 to 15 years ago. It was called PlayStation Home. I don't know if you ever got into it on the PS3. I spent some time in it.
I
They
can't
built out
remember.
this whole like place that you could go to and meet up with people in this like virtual world where you're walking around, you have your avatar, you can play games in this virtual world as your avatar, and then you can even like have your own home, hence the name PlayStation Home, and you can decorate it and style it your own way, invite people over to it virtually. You can go and play games, and like it really just tells me that like PlayStation was 10 years too early for this whole metaverse thing to take off. Or maybe again, it's just people are just trying the same thing again, and it's just this circular thing where like this idea that we're all going to live in this virtual world is I struggled with PlayStation Home to really get into it. Maybe it's because I didn't know enough people who were also trying it out at the same time as me. I
Yeah.
felt it was just like a little isolating, to be honest. I felt like it was not it just wasn't a place that I wanted to spend a bunch of time in. And like there's been other ones like Second Life. There is now Oculus or Meta now has their Horizon Worlds, I think they call it. And again, you're just in this virtual world that you can go and you can customize things and be an avatar and go and interact with people. But I really get bored very quickly in there. I just don't understand
Yeah.
why I would choose to go do that. Like when I want to go and do something through a TV or through a headset, I want to play a really well-crafted story or something with excellent engaging gameplay, multiplayer or not, with friends.
Yeah.
I don't want to just walk around a virtual world, just exploring a virtual world unless it's like really captivating and beautiful and well, like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, that's why I find a lot of indie games very boring, because that's what I feel like some of them are. There's like, a lot of indie games are just, they're just trying to build
Like repetitive and
big, beautiful game landscapes. And, people like that. Like, you enjoy that kind of stuff, but it's like in those kind of games. But I need a story. I need a really good story to keep me through it. Like, I can't remember the one that you really like, and I just would never get into it. I can't remember what it's called, but every time I see it, I'm just like, oh, I don't know why people look like they like it, but I get it. I get the idea that people like the visionary of it, the story. Like, there's not really a big story part of it, but
yeah.
the soundtrack, the everything part of
Mm-hmm.
it is really big
Mm-hmm.
into it. So,
Yeah.
um, so I get that, but it's the same idea, right? Like, but it's just on an opposite level. Like, you want to use this device that you paid for to make it a bigger thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which is what eventually they'll get there, I assume. But
Yeah. Speaking of
time
indie
will
games,
tell.
I recommended a couple to you over Black Friday weekend that were on really low. I think they were like $2. Inside Limbo. Did you pick them up?
Uh, One of them. I don't remember which one. I haven't played it yet. I don't remember which one it was.
There's both. I've both of them I've beaten in a single sitting,
I
and they're
can tell
both
you once I find it.
fantastic. Really, really, really
So
good
when I
games.
find the receipt, if I didn't delete it, I probably deleted it. Kind of looks like I deleted it. Yeah, I was like, I'll probably never need this receipt, and I did. And look at that.
Yeah.
Now we do. The one time that I would need it is just gone. And I can't go in my trash because I had to delete the 17,000 different spam ones I get. I get at least like 60 to 70 spam emails a day, and it's like the worst thing ever. What did I buy? Inside.
Yeah,
I bought
good game.
Inside.
Yeah, that's the newer of the two. It's the end. There's I'll just say this: there's a couple different endings depending on how you play the game, and they're messed up. That's the best thing I can say without.
I almost bought
away.
the other one, not the other one that you mentioned, but the other scary one because I've seen a lot of videos of that one.
Little Nightmares.
Yeah, that one's been apparently really positive.
I think it was a PlayStation Plus free game earlier this year. Either that or it's on Xbox Game Pass. One of the two. I know I
Probably
have
Game
it somewhere,
Pass,
and I've been waiting for a chance to play it because
I
you're right. Like it looks awesome, and there's actually a second one already out too, which I didn't realize. I saw it while we were just scrolling through the eShop after we were finished Mario Party the other night.
Yeah, I was at Walmart the other day and they had Guardian, like they had Black Friday stuff still out. It's like they had Guardians of the Galaxy for like $40, the PS5 game or the console game. So right,
Yeah.
'cause it's for everything. I was like, should buy it, but then I was like, nah, I'm never gonna play it.
You know, it's actually up for a lot of the awards for the video game awards.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
got a
next,
positive review for the
Thursday.
most part from like a lot of people. So if it's still on sale next week, maybe I'll get it. But I doubt it.
It's one of those that I'm kind of like, if it shows up on like Game Pass, I'll definitely play it. And like, here's the thing: Marvel's Avengers came out on Game Pass a few months ago, so I feel like if a game with that much like excitement that was put into it, and Spider-Man was finally just released for it as well, maybe there's a chance I'll get to play Guardians on that because apparently the story is really good. The voice acting was all done well for the characters. They didn't try to like just remake them from the movies. They actually took their own direction, took their own inspiration from the comics, which I actually really appreciated that we didn't just get more of the same. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what they did for Avengers, and I think a lot of people were pissed off about that. But I mean, Avengers are different from Guardians, I guess.
Yeah.
In that sense, also made by two different companies. But
true. Yeah.
I think so.
It is crazy how fast from like announcement to release Guardians was because like, here we are. How many like there's what Gotham Knights we're still waiting on, Arkham something. Is there a new Arkham game coming?
I think they've talked. Well, Gotham Knights is like their continuation of the Arkham games.
Okay, that's the one. What's the other one then?
And the Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah. They announced. I feel like those were announced so long ago, and we're still waiting on them.
They were announced in the summer.
Was it just the summer? I feel like it was longer than that.
There was rumors of them doing it for the longest time.
Okay.
And then they fully announced at E3 or whatever. And then DC's fandom obviously talked about them again.
Right. Yeah.
And they should be out next year. Because we got E3 was the announcements of them. And then DC fandom gave us the full like story trailers.
Right.
Them. So I don't know when we'll actually see those games, but they'll be big for their own purposes.
So speaking of the video game awards, so it's funny that it's coming up because it really does tell us that like we're a year into this podcast because it was like one of our first podcasts that we realized, oh my gosh, the video game awards are on, and we went and sat down and watched it. It's happening next Thursday, as I said before. For anybody that hasn't tuned in before to the Game Awards, they often do a lot of game announcements during it. So it is a fun time to watch if you're a gamer. You get to see a lot of people from the industry talk that otherwise throughout the year, you don't get a lot of opportunities to see these people. Right now, you can go to the Video Game Awards website. Or is it the Video Game Awards, or is it just the Game Awards? I can't remember the actual name. I
It's
might
just the
have
Game
to.
Awards, I'm pretty
The
sure.
Game Awards. Yeah, the Game Awards. You can go and vote right now for, all the different categories that are up. Deathloop shows up, a billion times. Metroid Dread shows up a bunch. I saw Forza Horizon 5 popping up a few times. Resident Evil Village. Those tend to be the games that are trending the most throughout. That I recognize and saw. And I realized as I was going through the categories, I'm like, I have not spent a lot of time gaming this past year. Like,
Yeah.
clearly having a kid and moving, all the stuff I've been through this year has not given me much time to get into my vices, if you will. But something interesting.
You bought all the systems.
Yeah, of course. It's a vice. I have to own it. It doesn't mean I have to touch it. It's just
I can't honestly, other than yesterday,
like,
other than the other day, I don't think I could tell you the last time I turned my PS5 on.
Yeah.
I turned it on to test something on my TV, but
sure.
Yeah. It's a sad moment.
It is a sad moment. Let's take a moment of silence for Alex's PS5, shall we?
Yours is probably worse than mine, so
hey, you know what? I played Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yeah.
And then
that
I
was
started
at least
playing
4 months ago.
Kingdom Hearts on it, and I got a good ways into it. And then I haven't turned it on since. Back to the Game Awards. So next week, Alex and I are going to be doing a pre and post show. Alex might be late to the pre-show, but he'll definitely be here for the post show. And I can't promise this, but there is a chance you will be able to watch it on this channel live.
Very
with
possible.
us commentating throughout. You will be able to post your comments on it. You can join as guests if you want, and comment with us. We are going to be watching it. We intend to be, even if we can't stream it on this channel, that's still TBD. It's up in the air. If we can't stream it, we will be, tweeting, commenting on Instagram. You will see live commentary from us. But there will be a pre and post show, and I really, really hope we get to co-stream.
We definitely
this.
try. Yeah,
we're going to do our best. We've made our attempts, so we're just waiting to find out if it's going to happen. But if it does, tune in here, watch the Game Awards next Thursday. I'm excited. I'm stoked. I really hope that we get to co-stream.
Usually, there's a good couple trailers that come through it, so we'll see what's up. I don't know what's to be able to see unless we see a new Dragon Age. Well, last year we saw the very first pictures of Dragon Age 4. So hopefully a year gone now, we'll see an actual footage.
Some stuff I'm hoping for, like, how long has it been since we got any updates on Elder Scrolls 6? You know what I mean? Like, we got a teaser trailer, not this E3, but the E3 before, I want to say. I'm hoping to see more Starfield from Bethesda. Maybe finally something on Metroid Prime 4. They did restart production on it like a year or 2 years ago with the original developer Retro, which is good. But again, like, they announced that game when the Switch was coming out. Switch has been out for 4 or 5 years now. It's about time we get Metroid Prime 4. So there's some big games that I think a lot of people are excited to hear about. Never mind. They announced, we got to see the Xbox Series X for the very first time revealed at the Game Awards. So it is a big event. It's an important one for gamers. Tune in.
Tune out, tune in, and something else.
What he said. Some other news going on gaming on the 13th of December. I think that's a Tuesday. There will be the Xbox documentary dropping. So Xbox Power On, and it's the history of Xbox. It's from its inception to now. It's a 6-part mini series that's dropping. And if you want to check it out a day early, you can actually go and register to Xbox's FanFest website right now. It's completely free, and FanFest users get access to the mini series a day earlier. So that's exciting.
Is it because it's Taylor Swift's birthday?
Yes. How do you know that?
It's like one of the biggest things of her thing. It's one of her biggest things. It's like she was born in 1989.
Yeah.
On December 13th. December 13th is like her biggest thing.
It goes to show how much I pay attention. Xbox announced this as part of their 20th anniversary. So it's been 20 years since the original Xbox was launched, when The Rock and Bill Gates shared a stage together, and The Rock was just like trolling the shit out of him. If you haven't been paying attention, so there was a 20th anniversary video already released where they did some announcements. There is Xbox Museum right now, which is pretty cool. You can go to Xbox Museum. I think it's xboxmuseum.com or museum.xbox.com. Google it, Xbox Museum. You'll find it pretty quick. You can find out, the game that you've played the most, the first game you ever played. There's a whole bunch of like fun facts and history. They've got their own little metaverse where you can jump in and walk around. It's terrible. It runs really slow. I spent way too much time to get through something that shouldn't have taken me nearly as many hours as it took me to get through the whole thing. It should have taken maybe 30 minutes, but whatever. I learned a lot about the history of Xbox while doing it, which was fun. Probably the intention, get more people to care about the brand. Miniseries sounds exciting. Halo Infinite's out December 8th finally on Xbox Game Pass for those subscribers, or you'll be able to buy it on the 8th as well. So lots of stuff happening in the Xbox world.
If you care.
If you care. Yeah.
I don't.
But it is the better console than the PlayStation.
Is it? 5. I have an Xbox Series X sitting on my desk right now. It's my dinner table, really. It's my desk. But
yeah.
It's just staring at me. Never going to get opened.
It's not yours, is it? It will be opened. It's not by you.
It's never getting opened. It's going to sit unopened for the rest of its career.
What if that individual who it's for watches this podcast?
Well, we never said who it was for. Maybe it's a contest.
I'm aware of that.
I'm not part of.
It could be a contest.
I highly doubt they're watching this right now, but that's fine.
I've been playing my Xbox recently. You haven't touched your PlayStation recently.
Yeah, you have more time in your life after 5 o'clock. I don't.
What? You have way more time in your life than I do.
After 5 o'clock? I don't think so.
Why does 5 o'clock matter?
No, I work 14-hour days, Pat.
Yeah. I work and have a baby.
Yeah, so our challenges are the same. So get over yourself. So you have more time to be at home. I don't. That's basically what I'm saying.
I do work from home. Yes, I don't have to leave my home as frequently as you. You are right.
That's what I'm saying.
I am wrong. I'm sorry.
You are wrong. I'm always right. Anyways, going on. That's the dynamic of this life,
Yep.
I'm always right. Anyways, Matt's favorite show, The Wheel of Time's on TV these days. Well, Amazon Prime.
It's probably my favorite show right now. Yeah, you're probably right. We're at 3 episodes in. 4th episode comes out this Friday.
I don't know. You would know better than I would. I've watched.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I think we're on 4. I think there's 4 out right now.
No, I think the 4th drops out this Friday. I don't know.
We can double check. 4.
It's the first episode. So I've read the books. I think if you've listened to this podcast, we've probably talked about this leading up to the launch of it. But
there's 4 episodes.
Is there? Okay. So I haven't read all of the series. There's like 14 books or something like that. I've read the first 5 books, and this series so far is really only touching on the first book, which is fine. I read it back in high school. It's been a long time. I remember bits and pieces of it. So going through it, I was able to keep up with the lore, and Alex, I'll let you get to what I'm sure you have to say about it. I was able to keep up with the lore, but I was definitely struggling a little bit with some of like the characters and the voice, or not the voice actors, but the actual actors themselves. I just wasn't like completely sold right away. I was really like being highly critical of like the look that they were going with. It felt like maybe they're going a bit too pretty at first, too clean for the outfits when they're traveling and all that kind of stuff. So I was definitely being a little critical early on. The final battle of the first episode was well done. It was cool. Second episode was fine. They're kind of in this different place. I don't want to spoil too much, but they're in a place that is haunted, more or less, is the best way I can probably describe it. And I thought some of the effects they used there were pretty cool. The most recent episode, though, was probably my favorite episode so far. And at the end of it, Alex knows, I messaged him and I was like, so-and-so and this so-and-so are fucking awesome. Like, our badass.
I ruined his hope and dreams and downplayed it completely.
And Alex totally downplayed it. So Alex, as somebody who has not read the books, and knows nothing going into this, what's your take been so far? Why don't you share with
This is
all of
like
us?
it's like mixing like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones and Dune all in one fucking series because they don't. It's a long walking journey that
Yep.
takes place in this past time or future, who knows?
Fantasy realm. Yep.
And they don't explain anything. So it's like all three things pushed together. So it's just like, okay, well, here's the thing, right? They have this Fade character. They kind of explain the fact that it's marks for this person, but
Yep.
it can't exactly tell you how it, but it's sightless. So it doesn't
Mhm.
really explain how it's being able to track something that they can't see. Not the
Yep.
point. Um,
Magic.
and then somehow these gigantic wolf creatures or troll things that
Trollocs.
are mixed with trolls, I don't really know,
Well,
are
Trollocs.
afraid of water because, you know, that's sensible. And then they keep talking about this dragon that's in a person, but we haven't seen a real dragon once. I understand. I'm just making that part up. There isn't actually a dragon, but they keep talking about this dragon that's, you know,
Yes.
it's a
There's
hypothetical
a
dragon. That's
person
yeah,
who's
yeah. But the fact
the
is, the
dragon.
symbol of the
Yes.
whole episode, the show, is a giant dragon eating itself. So it's
Snake eating itself.
it looks like a dragon, but that's and then they have all these color schemes, which clearly are a very big part of it. They don't
Mhm.
explain that until episode 4, and even then, they really vaguely explain it. And
Yeah,
it's
you're right.
just
They
like,
have not done a good job of explaining the ice eye colors.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you're just like, okay, cool. You kind of get it. The greens are healers, the blues are just kind of there, and the reds are
Wisdom.
assholes. So,
Yeah.
you know, you kind of get that feeling. And then there's
Yep.
probably going to be some purple color that's going to show up or something later. And then there's the whites. I feel like that's a very, very right on the nose on that one, that they're just trying to kill everything. I feel like that was just like, all right.
About as KKK Klansman as you can get.
Yeah, but it's led by a black, not led by a black guy, but a black guy is clearly
Just like the
controlling it.
most
Yeah.
ruthless of them.
Yeah, he's like the
Yeah, that
you know what I
was
mean?
interesting.
He's like not the
choice.
leader. He's like an out-off
Mhm.
Hitler kind of situation. He wasn't the leader, and then he's gonna eventually take control of the whole thing.
His character actually reminded me a lot of Christoph Waltz's character at the start of Inglourious Bastards. Just the way like he is presented initially, not as like suave. Like Christoph Waltz did like a masterful job of.
I think they're two different. Like they're very similar
Different
in the characters, but they're very different. I think different ways of going out. One's more intentional about killing the other ones. The other one's just doing his job.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'll let you decide which one's a which. But yeah, and you know, and then you got these mindless wanderers going throughout the thing, trying to fall back in love with each other, but not really being in love with each other, but then being in love with each other, and then hating each other, and then not hating each other. It's a whole wind-up story here. And then you got wolves licking wounds for no reason, and then
but there are reasons that I can't.
It's clearly obvious what happened. He's like, he was attacked by, you know, like he's got this. I don't know what it's gonna be. He's gonna be like the king of the wolves or something. I don't know. And the wolves obviously clearly, they like they showed us where to go. I'm like, clearly there's like dad now because he's eating him. And they can't, and I understand they kind of explain like the trances that they keep going into, which only affect the men, really, apparently.
No. Okay, so that's two different things.
No. I know what you're saying. I know what you're about to get into there. I'll get to that in a second.
Oh, sure.
Because the like I understand the magic when it's supposed to be when men have the magic, it kind of messes them up.
Magic's tainted.
Yeah. But now one of them is supposed to be the dragon reborn. So one of them is their magic. Like, but they said in that one scene that when they were all camping out in that destroyed fortress or whatever in the woods, that it's going to come after all of you and you're all going to have to fight it off. And then that's the whole thing. I get that. They kind of explain that a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyways, and then in this next episode, that these people just get murdered. I won't say how or why.
Sure.
Because they don't really tell you why. Or how. They don't really tell you how. You just you're there to assume what has happened.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yes.
So hopefully that will get a little bit corrected in the next episode, but maybe it won't. And is that guy dead now? We don't know. Who knows? There's so many questions. So many unanswered questions in this show.
You're right, and that's the purpose of a show, is to keep you captivated, keep you guessing, and
Is
tuning in
it,
to
or is
find
it
out
trying to
answers.
just piss me off?
I'm like, I mean, maybe you specifically they're trying to piss off, but everybody else, I think they're just trying to carry along.
I am too tired to watch this shit. Am I going to keep watching it? Yes, that's not the point. Too tired to deal with this shit.
Oh man. Couple questions for you. Who
Yeah.
do you think is going to be the Dragon Reborn?
None of them.
No,
It's going to end up being none of them. And you know what? Because they kept saying this fifth one. Obviously, the fifth one's clearly trying to say that's that healer girl, Naive, whatever her name is. So, you know, she's going to show that she has powers, but she's going to be powers, not the dragon powers. It's going to be like enough to be the leader of the Aes Sedai or whatever.
Okay.
Right? Or she's the natural born leader or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
Because I feel like with the way they keep saying it, it's going to be a dude. So, I could
well,
be
it's because
wrong.
it was a dude, right? And that, so like, and
I feel like the only way they're gonna be able to, you know, is that me or is that you? Anyways, I'm hearing some weird noises. Anyways, that it's gonna work is to heal that men can do it. Is if it's a man that's gonna bring the power back to, what's the word? You know, calm the seas between the men and women. I don't know. But I also don't really know. Maybe it's going to be none of them. I don't know. Because it's definitely not going to be that real Matt character. Because anybody named Matt should not deserve that kind of power. And then
Nick Dude and Seven, it is going well, my dude. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, we're just arguing about, you know,
the Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time. I mean, like, if I feel like I'd probably be more into it if. And like Prime TV wasn't fucking up my TV, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So what's going on with your TV? Like you mentioned.
So it's like the article. Did you read the article I sent you?
Yeah. So like something with like Amazon Prime and the way they handle HDR.
Yeah. So it like so the TVs, like a lot of TVs, newer TVs like ours, have a true sensing, true imagery thing on it.
Yeah.
And when they created theirs for their HDR, they did not put that into effect for the TVs like most shows would. And so you have to go onto your TV and turn off that trace tracing.
Adjust your settings. Yeah,
adjust the settings to do that. That's so like in the scenes where there's a lot of light, and there's a lot of light in those situations, especially the 1-4 scene. I could see like she's a dark skinned girl, but her forehead's turning gray. And I'm like, oh, right, that's annoying. So I thought it was my TV, and I'm like, this TV's not even 4 years old yet. So like, what is going on? So it just bothered me. It takes me out of it, you know. Maybe that's why I'm so mad about it.
And I think like something else I've noticed in like bad on Amazon or bad on, you know, the production company for this show, but like I'm noticing in 4K there's a lot of graininess in the open areas. Like I don't know if you've seen, but if you look up in the sky, it's just like super grainy.
But I feel like if they fixed it, like I know you've said you've watched it on the iPad, so maybe it's the smallest screen.
It looked really nice on my iPad.
Yeah, it looks fine on my phone too. But like I think if they fix this on the TV situation, I think it'll be great because because this is basically their test for their Lord of the Rings series that Amazon's putting out. Right? Because it's basically the same damn thing. So just with a different story. Because Lord of the Rings is a bunch of people walking in different directions. So, so we'll see how they do with that. If they fix that problem, then we won't have a problem. I don't think it's a huge problem. A lot of people are generally pirating films these days for shows. So I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. A lot of people stream it off like a website.
They're not going to see the quality problems that you're running into.
Yeah.
The curse of trying to watch things in the max possible quality, right?
Nick Dude 9 and 7 and 7, is that for like for Mass Effect or what? Either way, well, you've read 3.5 books of the series. Are you watching the show? You don't have to respond. If you don't, that's fine too. But yeah, that's my thought on the show. Will I keep watching it? Yes, I kind of have to at this point. But
you're into it now.
Yeah, I got to start what I finish, unfortunately. But I mean, like, it's like I was really out of it in the last episode, so maybe I'll go
Mm,
back and watch it.
mhm.
Because I watched it like 1 in the morning or something. Like, it was an interesting turnaround in the last episode when you find out the girl is a dark friend or whatever they're called.
Yeah. Yeah,
Spoiler
yeah, yeah.
alert! Spoiler alert! You should
In
be cut
episode
out.
3. Yeah.
4. It's an episode 4, but that's fine.
No, at the end of episode 3 you find out.
No, it's the end of episode 4.
We'll have to reconnect and talk after this
I'm
without
pretty
giving too
sure
much
because
away.
at the end of episode 4,
Mhm.
so we see Nain, the whole thing with Nain and her meeting up with the clansman, not the clansmen, but the group of switches or whatever they're called.
Okay. Yeah.
So we see that little situation at the very end, without
Yeah.
spoiling anything. But then you see
Yeah.
Matt's story, Matt and whatever the other guy's name is.
Rand.
Matt and Rand's story. And that's literally where that was earlier in the episode. Was that earlier in the episode? Yeah, so it was like at the very beginning. Oh, I don't even know anymore. I'm pretty sure it was episode 4. So the beginning of episode 4. I don't know anymore. Pretty sure
I think the beginning of episode 4 they do pick up from they re-show what happened at the end of episode 3 where the barkeep. Is that who you're talking about?
I'm trying to
that's the
figure
end
it
of
out
episode
here.
3.
Is it?
That's the final thing, and they take off, and then they just show it again at the start of episode 4.
Because I feel like, hold on, I'm gonna go back here because this is gonna bother me.
You did say you watched it at 1 a.m. and you're kind of out of it.
I mean, I
so
watched both episodes at the same time, but
yes, you get a pass on it. It's all good.
I'm gonna go to IMDb and figure this fucking thing out because
Right.
I am confused. They should show pictures. Yes, that's all happens. This all happens. Yes, I remember that. Okay, cool. You're not showing the whole episode. I'll go F myself. Okay, where's episode?
For anybody
3?
who's just tuning in, Alex is trying to figure out if he's crazy or not crazy about when something happens in the show The Wheel of Time. And if you are watching or interested in watching, make sure to leave a comment and let us know what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah, thanks, IMDb. Don't put pictures on there. Now I have to believe what Matt says is real.
Take my word for it.
Yeah, well, whatever. Apparently, you're right, and that's fine. Is it fine?
Did you just say that I'm right?
I don't think that happened. But there's nothing that records that I said that. So,
so some interesting stuff, not about like the actual like show stuff, but like for Amazon, this is actually their most successful TV series like premiere ever on Amazon Prime. Out of all the shows they've ever had, this show is just like going crazy. So
they promoted the hell out of it.
They did a really good job of promoting it, but I think clearly there's an appetite for like a Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones type show. Now that Game of Thrones is done, we don't have anything fresh in the Lord of the Rings. Like there's not a lot of other fantasy shows like this. And so I think, we have tons.
Well, there was Shadow and Bone, right? Like I was saying, like Shadow and Bone. I think a lot of people did watch
about this separately. It's a bit meant for like a younger audience, right? It's more like a tween, young adult kind of show, is it not?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I would say so. Like the books were like young adult books.
Yeah.
And I mean, you would say Wheel of Time was kind of young adult too. It's like so was like Lord of the Rings at their time.
Yeah, but I mean, like Lord of the Rings, like transcended just young adults. Like people of all ages would read.
Lord of the Rings. I mean that's any book, right? Like Harry Potter and stuff like that. That transcends.
You're right. Yeah. You know what I mean, like if you really look at the themes and whatnot, like Harry Potter was aimed at like our generation for as we were growing up, right? That's who J.K. Rowling had in mind when she was writing it. And I think like when you look at J.R. Tolkien and when you look at oh man, I can't remember his name now. But Robert Jordan, who wrote the Wheel of Time series up until his passing, they were clearly writing these for just anyone, right? It wasn't like geared toward a certain audience. And I do think Shadow and Bone was intended to be like a tween young adult book, right?
Yeah, sorry, I'm yawning a lot because I'm always tired. No, it's a thing. It was definitely a replacement for Twilight. in the book
Hmm.
series, I would assume.
Yeah.
I don't want to read the book, so I'm just gonna watch the TV show.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
I might still have to check it out. I know you recommended it at some point,
yeah,
so
you know, everyone likes a lot of little Ben Winshaw in their life, so you should watch it.
yeah,
Um,
I will say like there's clearly an appetite for this kind of series that is a little bit more mature. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I think this is filling that gap for a lot of people that love kind of that fantasy. Anybody who's into Dungeons and Dragons, anybody who enjoyed watching the Lord of the Rings films when they came out, or The Hobbit, that kind of stuff. I think if you haven't checked it out already and you liked that kind of stuff previously, you're gonna really like this. It is definitely more Lord of the Rings than it is Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones was much more political and
Well,
sexual.
I mean, I feel like this was like there's
There's
definitely
politics
sexually
in
driven,
this.
but there's this one's got a lot more political too. And I think we're only
It's
seeing
just
the beginning of it.
yeah,
I think right now, I think they're gonna write it more or less. Well, they might write it just as political because once I see where it's already going, well, there's already gonna be a power struggle
sure.
coming up.
Yeah, I
In
guess
a
I
certain
guess maybe
degree,
it's just
but
less HBO-ified.
yes, it's not like it's not kings and queens. It's just
Yeah,
a power struggle of like top who's the
yeah,
boss, who's not the boss.
totally.
Um,
Yeah.
and there's no real dragons in it yet, so that's a
Hmm.
shame. That's a shame. But we have trolls, gigantic trolls.
Well,
But
one
yeah,
day.
but yeah. So there's that. I mean, apparently there's also I haven't watched it yet, and our people watching could tell us, tell us where the next episode is. Yellowstone is apparently one of the biggest
Mm,
shows right now. People are loving it
yeah,
up and down. I have no desire to watch a show about a bunch of old white men living out in Alaska
no,
and
not your cup of tea.
I don't know where Yellowstone is. I guess it's mid America, not Alaska.
Yellowstone National Park. Yeah. It's funny. It was actually recommended to me last year around the same time. Shortly after we started this
Yeah,
podcast, somebody recommended that we check it out, and I have not had a chance to start it yet.
yeah, me
But
neither.
I mean, Kevin Costner, he's a good actor. Like maybe it's something worth putting on at some point just to see. But
Yeah,
yeah.
apparently the drama is really high. But I mean, I already watched the Ozark. If I don't want to watch, basically it's about drugs and gangsters out
Oh,
in the
okay.
Midwest.
Yeah.
From what I'm to understand, from what I've watched,
Mhm.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I've only seen clips and him yelling at Asian tourists. So, I mean, they were on his land unintentionally,
Mhm.
unnecessarily, and I get it. And then there was a bear. It was a whole thing. Um, so I guess it's just about the Midwest of America
Mhm.
and their sprawling lands of freeness.
Sprawling Lands of Freeness.
Is
Nice.
that a thing? I don't know. Anyways, there's Yellowstone that's there. Uh Dexter, New Blood's been going on. I didn't watch this
Mhm.
last week yet. I might watch this tonight before well, I'll probably pass out watching it. Who knows? Um
It is what it is.
it is what it is. It's been okay. I mean, like you haven't watched it clearly,
I haven't
but
checked it out yet. No.
it's okay. It's basically
Mhm.
Dexter, just reimagined a
Mm.
little bit. So if you're watching it, let us know. Let us know what you think
Yeah.
about
Yeah. For
Dexter.
sure. Tell me if I need to
Dexter.
check it out because I'm not going to watch it just because Alex told me to watch it.
Oh wow, boo.
Hawkeye. Hawkeye.
Yeah, that's a thing. Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very timely for this. It is like Marvel's like Christmas show right now.
The thing is, like,
Um.
they never put. Like, we knew that was happening, but I feel
Yeah.
like we didn't see any promotion for it until like the week it was happening. I feel like they
Um.
didn't put a lot of work into this one.
I don't think I go to enough places to like catch advertisements where I would know or not know that answer, but I will say like I've seen enough trailers for it over the past few months that like it felt like I was waiting for it.
See, I only remember the one trailer, and the one trailer was the same damn thing happening over and over again.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think it was just the same trailer, just kind of extended and whatnot at some point in
Yeah.
time. Like I don't think they really like wanted to show too much because again, I hate
Well,
when
they
shows
already
do that when I
announced
get the
that
whole
like
show.
this trailer already spoiled the fact that Echoes exists and that they're making
Yeah,
their own TV show out of it.
sure.
Which is interesting. Apparently, apparently, um, so now that the Miss Marvel, they've announced obviously Miss Marvel is the next TV show that come out after Hawkeye.
Yeah,
Pretty sure. They've changed her powers apparently. So
really.
yeah, apparently she has more powers very similar to like the Green Lantern. Like they can just she can imagine
Just
what
like if she
like the
can.
fist
Okay. Yep.
and manifest it when her powers are supposed to be very similar to Marvel's,
Hmm.
Captain Marvel's. But we'll see where it goes.
Mhm.
There's a lot to explain from that, from Endgame to Captain, from Miss Marvels to Marvel, the Marvels. That's what they're calling it. It's the next big.
That's a tongue twister.
I know, the Marvels, the
The
Marvels,
Marvels.
the Marvels.
Come over here to the Marvels.
But yeah, that's Marvel for you.
Yeah, man.
Because Spider-Man is next. Spider-Man's the
Spider-Man's
next
next.
big
Oh
epic.
man. Oh, I'm so excited.
I
So
mean, they pretty
excited.
much like they kind of got spoiled like the big thing. We all knew it was gonna happen. Like we
Yeah.
all knew that
Eh,
this was happening.
we
But
knew
like
we were gonna get
a
the
lot
other
of places, apparently
Spider-Mans.
a lot of like online stuff are just spoiling it now.
Mm-hmm.
Like by putting it accidentally in like in the casts and like putting it
Yeah.
in like scenes and gifs are out there already, and you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
like even the video I showed you guys that in the trailer, like if you slowed it down, you can see a scene where he's being held up by something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, there's no question, and
it
I
would
think
be
they're
hard
doing
to
it
edit.
tongue in cheek at this point. Like you're right, it would be incredibly hard to edit some of this stuff out.
Like I said,
So
just do the one trailer. They didn't even have to do a trailer, and it would have sold out crazily.
you're
But
right. Yep.
and I always said that, and I stood by it. All they had to do was do like a simple trailer saying, like, showing what happened right at the very end of the last one,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and seeing where they are, and with him setting up. All they had to do was set up that Doctor Strange talk, and him
Yep.
blowing up the multiverse, and then
Yep.
ending it with
Yeah.
Doc. Like they could have done it with that, and that was basically the trailer they showed the first time. They
Yeah.
did not need that second trailer. It was
Mm.
so dumb. It was so dumb.
It's that constant struggle between the creatives, who I think you're leaning towards. Like the creatives would have made the decision not to do a second trailer,
Yeah.
and maybe not even to have shown as much as they did in the first trailer. It's the business suits who feel that we know marketing, we know how to sell a movie, and if you don't do this, it's not going to make the money that we want it to make. So we need to make the numbers. And I think that's the battle, right? That's always the ever ebb and flow of business, right? You got the people who are passionate and they think like this is the right way to do it. And I agree with you. I think I would have been much more excited not to know as much as I've already seen, because I think one of the rare cases where Marvel did it so well was with Endgame. That was, in my opinion, the best marketing they've done for any of their films, because they showed nothing. You knew next to nothing about that movie. Even the stuff they had in there was a lot of fake stuff in there that didn't end up being in the movie, or was altered from what you saw in it. And like they did it so well. And hey, you know what? We could be going to this thinking that we know a lot more than we do. You know what I mean? I think we know.
Well, there's
a lot.
like, I mean, like the leak stuff that's already been out there, like of these doctored pictures with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire on this what are they called, construction site area, scaffolding, and talking with Tom Holland's Peter. You see like those pictures, but then you see in the last trailer they're literally in a construction yard with scaffolding, and then you see the lizard's head just turn somehow. So it kind of validates those kind of defunct things. But I mean, like, it's still going to be a surprise when they do show up, and how they show up, and if in what degree. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think it's awesome that they're doing it. Like, I think
this
how
is
much
one of the
fan service do you get from something like this? Like, that's so cool.
Since like this, like you had Days of Future Past, which is kind of like one of the first ones to really do something like this.
Yeah,
and then like but this is one of the biggest,
more overtly, right?
Generational things. So you have 3 different generations of Spider-Man coming in together for one story. Like, and I mean, like, it's unfortunate that
Tobey Maguire was our childhood Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was like our young adult.
Arguably the best one was Tobey Maguire still.
I think
that's fine. Spider-Man 2 was still Spider-Man 2 was a really good movie.
I'm not saying Spider-Man 2 wasn't the best Spider-Man movie. I'm just disagreeing that I don't think Tobey Maguire was the best Spider-Man. He may have been in the best Spider-Man film, but I don't think he was the best Spider-Man.
I would disagree.
We have somebody else in your court, Alex. One Joseph Wendell.
Yeah. Toby is the best. Toby is the best.
I don't know. I just like,
because if you think about it this way,
maybe it's just seeing him with his emo cut.
Okay, the emo thing. That's why you don't. That's why we don't count
him for me.
You don't count Spider-Man 3. You don't clearly Sam Raimi put his, like, just kind of called it in. But But if you look at it, like he's like the nerdiest guy who's fallen in love with this beautiful chick. That's what you think
Yeah.
of of
Oh, interesting. Toby is best Spider-Man, but Peter Parker is Tom Holland.
hmm,
I do
I
think
don't
Tom Holland
know.
makes a really good Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield was too old, but I do feel the way that they portrayed him as Spider-Man, especially in those early
I found
scenes in the first Amazing Spider-Man, the way he was
I
like
see.
throwing out the quips and everything to the bad guys as he was stringing them up.
Well,
That was
you
like
see that in,
so
in Tobey
Spider-Man.
Maguire, a little bit.
Yeah,
I feel
a little
like
bit.
so. Here's my thing: like Tobey Maguire was, I think, was all around perfect because he was the nerdy young kid. Um, yeah, he was a little older for the time, but that was movie making at the
Mhm.
time.
Sure.
Um, but he was the nerdy kid. He looked the part. He felt the part.
Mhm.
And then when he got into the suit, he was doing the swings. He was doing everything. He had the quips. He
Sure.
had the voice. That's why I feel like that. Then you got Andrew Garfield, and like Joe says here,
It's too cool for
too
school.
cool first of all. And he like, yeah, he did. He played him off like he wasn't
Yeah,
the like he played him off like he was just a damaged kid, which I mean, Spider Man is
he
just a
was.
damaged kid, but
Yeah,
like he played him off like,
he wasn't as like happy-go-lucky as Spider-Man's supposed to be. Yeah,
yeah,
and
exactly.
I think that's where Tom Holland, and I think you're right, Joe. When it comes to Peter Parker as Tom Holland, or Tom Holland as Peter Parker, I think he is a kid. Like when you hear him talking to the other Avengers, when you hear him talking to Tony Stark or to Doctor Strange, and the way he responds to them in those conversations, he is not an adult, and it's very
I
obvious, and
think
he
that's why
hasn't
I
had the
think
experiences in life, right? And that's why
that
he embodies like who Peter Parker is a kid,
at
you
that
know.
time, at that in the specific
Yes.
time, that's why I think Toby Maguire is still better because we see him in high school
Hmm.
and still treating as a high school student. And then we see him again as an adult learning from those aspects and treating being a villain, not a villain, but being a superhero in a different way, being heartbroken, being um, having your best friend, thinking you're still his best friend, even though your best friend fucking hates you. And it's a whole fucking thing. Um, but I don't know. I think for the time that Spider-Man was like 2001. It
Hmm.
was what it was for its first
Okay,
one. I
so
mean,
we're
there's
going to be putting
difference.
up a poll on our Instagram and our Spotify, so make sure to let us know who the best Spider-Man is, and then separately who the best Peter Parker is, and then finally what is the best Spider-Man movie. So you will find that poll
Mhm.
going up on our Instagram.
It's so hard. Like, obviously, I would obviously just count out the Amazing Spider-Man storylines. I
Yeah.
mean, they were pointless. Um, but I feel like it's so hard to judge because they're two different generations of movie making. Like the things that so you would try to put in a movie in
Hmm.
2001 are not what you could pull off in a movie
Yeah,
these
and I mean,
days.
like
You know what I
Spider-Man was
mean? Like,
groundbreaking for superhero movies. It allowed, it was the first
mhm.
really truthfully successful, commercially successful superhero movie was
Yeah, I
the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. So we have that to thank for
think Spider-Man was 1999.
the last 20 years basically of amazing um movies that have come out that all the directors love. Ridley Scott definitely loves superhero movies. He doesn't hate them at all.
Yeah, because his last movie was so successful.
Okay, his comments and some of the stuff that I don't often go to this, but all I could think when I read some of his comments about the Green Knight and why it wasn't as
That's
successful as it should have
2002.
been and all this stuff was just okay boomer. So all that was going through my head.
Yeah. So Spider-Man
um
was in Spider-Man. It was 2002.
sure.
Yeah. No, Ridley Scott. I mean, he just did the last duel, and that bombed miserably. It cost them
Oh
over
yeah,
a
the last
hundred.
duel.
It
Yeah.
costed them over $100 million to make, and it only made almost 48
I'm
million.
sure it's a good movie. I want to see it
I
still.
do want to see
Personally,
it too, and
I
like I
do
said,
want to
I
watch
still
it.
think like I'm still sticking by my bet that those four actors in that movie are all
Mhm.
going to be nominated because it's
Sure.
of an agenda. But
But
that's not the point.
commercially, it was a failure.
Oh
Like a
yes, it was a
major,
major
major
fail.
failure. Yeah,
Um,
I think he is too caught up in how movie making used to be done,
yeah,
and how you would release movies and all, and
a
he's
lot of them
not
are.
evolving. You're right. A lot of movie makers are not evolving. And I think one of the few that has done a really good job of evolving over the years is Steven Spielberg. I think he's one director who's always been willing to change and ebb with the flows of time and like what the
Yeah,
industry needs at any given time. I think he is one that's done a masterful job of continuously being able to stay current with how to do things, and Ridley Scott to me is just he those comments he's making, it's the same kind of stuff I saw from Martin Scorsese 5 or 6 years ago when he was like, Netflix movies shouldn't be put on to the Oscars. I'm like, why the heck not? They're a movie.
And then he made a Netflix movie.
Then he made a Netflix movie, which is probably his big apology to Netflix.
Yeah. Well, then you got the thing is with like Ridley Scott, his next big movie is The House of Gucci that comes out like this week or next.
Yeah.
Or it may already be out. I don't really know.
Is that Ridley Scott?
Yeah, yes, it is. Huh. But apparently it's a real garbage movie. The story is bland. The only thing that saved it was, surprisingly, the thing that saved it was Lady Gaga's acting.
Interesting. I mean, she's been fairly impressive in her recent roles.
And not even Adam
Driver.
Adam Driver and what's his name?
Sam Rockwell.
No, he's not in that movie.
Is he not? I thought he was.
He might be. I don't know, but it's not him. Singer of 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh, Jared Leto.
Yeah, so him and Adam Driver could not save this movie apparently, with their talents. But Lady Gaga's apparently was a big surprise out of it. So good for her. Maybe she'll get that Oscar because she's not following a script from another movie from a long time ago.
Wow.
I never saw that other movie, to be honest.
Oh, oh man, I can't even think of it now. I listened to the song. So I mentioned I was listening to Born This Way earlier this week.
Born This Way.
It came from because I was listening to Shallows right before that big song from
Shallow,
the movie that I can't remember.
Joe will know.
Star is Born.
Star is Born. Star is Born. Yeah, Joe loves that movie. Joe loves it.
I think Joe is the man in A Star is Born. Hopefully, it will not end the same way for Joe. But
again, never saw the movie. So
talent-wise, Joe's got it, man.
Yeah, just hopefully not go down the same road.
This lonely road.
But hopefully we'll see it. We'll start seeing a little bit more in the next month, actually, a lot more of what award season's going to start looking out like now. We'll see a lot more of these random he does do it. He does love that. He does love drinking. Joe does love drinking. But like I said, we'll see a lot more of the Academy Awards coming out. Golden Globes aren't a thing anymore, so we won't be seeing any of that.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye now.
Bye.
But we'll see. It's what do we got? Well, next week, you should see what movies we are looking for 2021. I know we discussed it earlier this year, but I can't remember any of them. So
yeah, I mean, the next movies I'm looking forward to, the Batman is obviously up there.
Yes,
Spider-Man is obviously up there. Those are the two top movies that I'm most excited about in the next little while.
Will Smith has an Oscar buzz for something similar. Yes, he does. He has as for the Vanessa and Serena Williams father movie. So which I find so goddamn hilarious that they made this movie about this the father of the stars that were made. I find that so one, overdone. How many times have we seen movies about famous kids parents?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes, granted, a lot you are your parents' child, but the two girls, we don't have movies about them, and they're the ones who made the sport famous. They are the ones.
But here's the thing: they're the ones who were in the limelight. There's been documentaries; you can find out their story, but to find out the story behind the story,
no, I disagree because if you listen to those stories, then you already know his story, and you don't need to praise this man. This is just misogynistic filmmaking for the win. Come on, get more woke, Hollywood.
Get more woke.
This is just Will Smith's chance of trying to get an Oscar that he's never gonna get. Yeah, actually, I shouldn't say that. He might get it. Who knows?
Yeah,
with the way how Hollywood is woke, you never know.
Yep, they're getting there, man. They're getting there. Maybe a little bit by a little bit. At least on the surface, they are. You know what I mean?
Yes. And what is the movie called? It's so stupid too, and it's
I'll
find out.
Will Smith. We have this thing called the internet.
I'm working on it.
King Richard.
Yeah. See, what the hell? Why would you even he didn't do anything?
King Arthur. No, it's not King Arthur. But good. You got 1 out of 2 words there, Joe. Well done. Well done. It is King Richard. You know what movie I'm excited about that I forgot about, and there's actually something out you can go watch now on it, is Jurassic World Dominion. It's a long time coming.
Yes.
They've got a prologue video out. It's about 5 minutes long on YouTube. You can check it out now. I'm excited. It's been a while since we've had a good Jurassic film.
Yeah, I mean, Jurassic World. What was the second one called?
Not the new
New World. The New World. Either way, that movie is so depressing. Yep. I will never watch it again.
Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom. I don't think I'll ever.
When you see them like on the ferry leaving, you see it blowing up.
Yeah, I don't think that scene is necessary. I understand the emotional take of what it is. I will never watch that movie again. And then, even in the first one, you see all these dinosaurs jumping off to their deaths, and you're just like, cool, great, awesome. Like, that's what we need to see. Like, I'm okay humans just getting murdered by these gigantic lizards.
Yeah,
that's fine.
These dinosaurs are innocent.
Gigantic lizard birds. That's fine. But me not needing to see them kill themselves is a whole different thing. Like, we don't need that.
No.
So hopefully in the new one, because the idea of the new one is that they've taken over a lot of the world, not taken over, but now they're on the populated areas of the world.
Probably just the States, because let's be real.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see Chris Pratt reunite with Blue somehow, and it's gonna be a whole fucking thing
again. Yeah. The umpteenth time,
and they're gonna have little babies, and it's gonna be a whole thing, and then he's gonna have an old gang. Isn't Blue a woman?
Who's gonna have babies?
Blue. Isn't that what he is? She is. Aren't all dinosaurs on that island female?
I got a little worried that you're talking about like how like Chris Pratt and Blue are gonna.
No, why?
Babies.
Why would you even think that? Maybe Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard's character might have a baby.
Yeah. Didn't Blue survived the final fight?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Blue like makes it off the island. I think she was like one of the big things that made it off the island.
Pretty sure.
Because she gets captured, doesn't she? Doesn't she get captured and then sold? And then when they're bringing it to the other, I don't remember. I'm never gonna watch that movie again. You know what? I'll probably watch that movie tonight if I don't fall asleep.
Yeah, exactly.
But only if it's on Netflix. If it's not on Netflix, fuck it. Because I actually probably do own it. No, I don't. I only own the first one. But yeah, so that's exciting. I don't know when that movie comes out.
Yeah, I don't actually know the release date, but the prologue video, I've been meaning to watch it a few times now, and I have not had a chance yet. So, Jurassic World coming soon.
Dominion. It does not have a release date.
Oh wow, that's shocking.
That I can see right away.
I feel like they've been really taking their time with this one. Like they're not rushing it out.
I lied. I found it. June 10th, 2022.
Okay, there we go. We got
this year.
We got 7 months.
So we'll see. I'm sure we'll see a trailer in about 3 to 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because who is it? It's Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah,
I think so. Right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
But like for this one, it's kind of crazy because they're bringing back Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, all from the original for the first time ever. We saw Jeff Goldblum kind of in the last one.
Mm-hmm.
But he had nothing to do. And then obviously BD Wong, who was in the original first one, is back again.
Yep.
Stealing dinosaur liquids or whatever they want to call it.
Oh, sorry. It's Universal, not Warner Brothers.
Yeah, same thing. It's not. It's definitely not the same thing. But, yeah. But the guy who's directed the last two is directed the same one. He was supposed to, the guy, Colin Trevorrow, was supposed to direct Star Wars Episode 9. But that clearly didn't happen.
Nope.
And look where that happened. Look what happened there. Look what happened there. I need to get a second camera, like right here, so because I keep looking
so you
over.
Can cut to it when you look over and then cut back. I think we're gonna have to upgrade your station there, man. Your studio.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get a producer, get everything. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's that. I think next week we got a lot going on. We still got we'll have lots to catch up on.
Yeah.
What are we looking
forward
to?
One last thing that I haven't checked this out yet, but it's lighting up the internets right now for all the the youngins. Mr. Beast did the in real life version of Squid Game, and apparently it's just super, super cool. Apparently they put it together in a really short period of time as well, which to me is actually the more impressive part than the actual production. It's just the factor that they were able to do it in such a short window from like conception to production, all that kind of stuff. I thought
I
that
mean, the
was
guy's got
pretty
enough
cool.
money from his
Yeah, I mean,
producers,
he can pull resources and everything to get it done. But yeah, Mr. Beast, if you don't know who he is, you probably know more about him than I do because I don't keep up with a lot of influencers. But yeah, did an in real life Squid Game, and apparently it shows just how many people don't know how to play red light, green light.
His whole scheme, it might be a scheme, I don't know. His whole thing is give it away money. Like that's his big thing. Like he'll say, if you stand in this box for 24 hours,
sure,
you can have this. Or he does like the whole last couple classic ones he's done is like hand on the car. If you keep your hand on the car, you get to keep it.
Yeah.
But he tricks you too. Like he'll do stuff and like to try to push you off of it. Or he'll go like open a bank. One video he opened a bank and he just let people walk in. It's like, how much money do you need? It's like this, and then he would just give it to them. So kind of stuff like that.
Sure.
So I mean, views are views, man. You gotta take what you got.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. You gotta give people what they want. And apparently what they want is that.
Watch other people get money. Yeah, that's apparently what they want.
I mean, I watch other people drive cars all the time. So really, like, how depressing is my life?
I watch other people make movies, I guess. By being in movies.
You know what though? No, I think that's different. I think watching stuff behind the scenes about like movie making, all that kind of stuff, to me, that's less like, depressing and more like I'm learning about that industry. Like I actually learn a lot through watching like people and their reasoning, their rationale, and like their thought process and all that kind of stuff. I find that super educational. Watching people drive other cars and talk about their experiences with the cars, that's just me living vicariously through those people. So two different things.
Well, like us, we're two different things.
Yeah.
In many ways, more than one.
The exact same.
Weird. I'm pretty sure my dog just decided to leave the room. So, with that being said, I don't know where he went. So I should probably figure that out. Either way, this has been fun. I'm back now.
Yeah.
Back like black. I don't know. One comment I did want to say was before we end it, I know you guys were talking about the Beatles last week.
Oh yeah.
And my question to you, and it's kind of, and I'll explain it a little bit after. Like, can we separate the music from the artist? Are we, even if it's like 50, 60 years ago that it happened? Should we? I guess is another question. Because if you look at the song, like the whole thing is called Get Back, right?
Yes.
So originally, I've learned recently that the original song, the way the song Get Back was originally written, was written about Pakistanis coming to London. So it was originally called Get Back Pakistanis. It was literally written for them to be kicking out the Pakistanis and go and tell them to go back.
That was the intention behind it.
Yeah, so that was the original song, and it was recorded that way. And then they re-recorded it, obviously, when they did this documentary. And it was, and at that time, that's old school 1950s, 60s London. Like that was,
like if you've ever seen that Bruce Springsteen movie that came out in the last couple of years, it was all about like the main character in that movie. Same thing, came from Pakistan and was like, constantly treated
harassed,
really poorly.
And so that's where because they've created they changed the music business, they changed everything. It's the same with like John Lennon, who was
he was such
notorious,
an activist, right?
He's an activist, but he was also notorious apparently for being a wife beater for his first wife,
really,
and his child. So
and that's like this whole this cancel culture thing we just went like crazy through towards the latter half of the 2010s, right?
So I'm not trying to drag their name through the dirt or anything. But it's a question: do we give them a pass for the amount of? It's like the whole Michael Jackson thing too, as well. Do we give them a difference because of the music they've created and the things they've done for the good of society, compared to what they've done outside of Nah.
Yeah, yeah. You know, that's a big topic. And I don't think that's something we can cover tonight.
No, it was just a general question. It doesn't have to. It's something to
Yeah,
think about.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Because
That's
of the
big.
whole big get back situation that started out last
Mhm.
week. I can't think it started last week. I don't know if it was an episode every day or not
Series.
every week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
something to think about when you're watching, do some
Huh.
research on it, and let me
Yeah,
know your thoughts.
I want to learn more about that because I wasn't aware of that, and you know, if that's the messaging, that's really shitty.
They
Um,
obviously changed the lyrics completely. Um,
Totally. But like even like if there was an intention at some point to be part of that movement, like
yeah.
that's kind of shitty. It does, and again, whether it's part of the time and everybody around you's doing it, does that still make it right? And that's a big dialogue. I will say, and I know you're gonna get frustrated at me for this, but you need to watch the morning show on Apple
Ugh.
TV Plus because they tackle that exact question that you just tackled about um separating the person from the work and all that kind of stuff. So I I think you should watch it. I think you would have a lot of commentary from especially towards the end of the second season.
Yeah.
But throughout, I think you would have a lot of really good takeaways and commentary on it. And it was like we didn't touch on the morning show and how it ended and whatnot. I think I was the only one watching it, but
You were
the
for a
final
reason.
episode was incredible. It was really really good. So the final episode of season 2, there will be a season 3 for sure, but it just wrapped up about 2 weeks ago, and it just if you haven't seen it and you're into anything remotely to all that and kind of what was happening in the media world throughout the United States towards the beginning of COVID, you know, March 2020 roughly, they kind of get into all of that, and they do a really good tasteful job of it. So yeah.
Well, I'm trying to stick to my promises, and I promised never to watch that show. So I'm trying to prove a point. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we will see.
We
We
will
will
see.
see.
Cool.
But yeah, we got super dark there at the end, but we got there.
We
Ladies
got
and
there.
gentlemen, this has been the it is what it is podcast because it is
Yeah.
what it is. It
Thanks,
is what
folks.
it is.
Thanks for tuning
Not a
in.
negative
Thanks for
term. It's
listening.
not a positive term. It just is what it is.
Love you guys. Boom, boom,
Okay.
boom, boom.
Till next week. Who knows what's gonna happen next week? We don't.
Peace out, everybody.
Okay,
Uh,
bye. Bye now. Bye bye.
bottom, bum, bam, 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 bam.
Bye.